Yes, I would like to provide a brief report on the definition of Scope 3 emissions data and explain how our ESG Data Exchange Network can assist in capturing it. Firstly, what are Scope 3 data? It's globally established to classify a company's emissions into these three categories. Direct emissions on site, Scope 1 emissions from energy consumption, Scope 2 and Scope 3 are all indirect emissions that occur in the supply chain. Why is this important? If we look at the data from the Carbon Disclosure Project here, we can see that 75%, sometimes even 80 or 90% of a company's total emissions are in this Scope 3. So it is extremely important to address this block of emissions if you want to achieve any effects. Nevertheless, 48% here do not report on Scope 3 at all because it is considered difficult and hard to achieve. And 60% of companies have established ambitious reduction targets for themselves. And since January of this year, the EU has even required legally binding reduction targets for reporting companies in its CSRD framework. So why don't we actually remove this burden of Scope 3? If you examine it more closely, you will find that there are 15 basic categories in the Greenhouse Gas Protocol that are utilized globally for Scope 3. A lot of it is data that companies already possess. The unit of measurement is evident, carbon dioxide equivalents for all. Why don't people do that actually? It is much easier than many think. Why it is important can be seen here in this fictional example of a textile producer who wants to find the most CO2 friendly supplier. Read table from right. On far right, see industrial average value being used for industrial average. Basically, the one with the lowest price gets the contract, not the one with the best CO2 footprint. In the middle, an industrial database is used, which already provides a more detailed picture, but only on the left we have real data from the suppliers and can make an informed decision and achieve the actual reduction effect. Here you can see how this data can be captured in our system. Very straightforward. Data requests can be sent out and filled in. And here you can see how, from the perspective of a reporting company, the report slowly fills up and we have more and more reportable data, which we can then release later with the report. Just a quick look, where can the data actually come from? There are the so-called disclosures below. We possess the ability to read IoT data, like our partnerships with Wago and E.ON, which are located there at the beginning. We can obtain data from audited processes, which then have a higher quality, or partner with a third party. In this instance, we partner with the company Zielke. Finally, here is a glimpse of a report that is equipped with a certificate and can be read by machines at any time. It can be verified by third parties who examine this report and derive benefits from the fact that suitably processed Group 3 data is accessible.